Just my thoughts about the F-16C or D Block 70 or 72 Viper for the Philippines, August 2022. Please like and share the video, and subscribe to the channel. This is just to continue my series of fighter aircraft that are being offered to or considered by the Philippines. And in this video I will finally start sharing my thoughts of one of the two aircraft the Philippine Air Force said they are seriously considering for their multi-role fighter aircraft acquisition program, the F-16C or D Block 70 or 72 Viper aircraft that is made by the United States. Again, just a disclaimer, these are just my opinions based on the facts that I am able to gather on my own at the time that this video is made. I will be putting links in the description showing where I got some of the information that I used on this video. The F-16 and the JAS-39 Gripen has been compared before by many air forces over the decades, and the F-16 has always come out on top in terms of performance and capability, especially in terms of range and payload. And this I think is simply because of the fact that the F-16 is a heavier aircraft and with a more powerful engine. The country of Slovakia in 2018 published their findings of the head-to-head comparison between the Viper and the Gripen C or D, and in it they showed that in terms of empty weight, the Viper was already 2,700 kilograms heavier than the Gripen. And when it came to the maximum takeoff weight, the Viper increased this gap to 7,700 kilograms, meaning it is able to carry more payload and fuel. This is possible for the Viper because its engine is able to deliver around 5,000 kilograms more thrust or power than that of the Gripen's engine. However, its heavier weight and more powerful engine also results in a more expensive aircraft to operate. In 2012, the defense publication Janes published a study showing exactly that, wherein the F-16 was found to be around $2,700 per hour of flight more expensive to operate than the Gripen. The Block 70 also uses a radar with a new generation active electronically scanned array or ESA antenna, which has many advantages over the previous generation mechanically scanned array antenna that the Gripen's radar is using. The ESA antenna is more reliable, can detect air, ground and sea targets at the same time, resistant to jamming, and will not be easily detected by enemy radar detectors. The Swedish company Saab AB is testing an ESA antenna also for the Gripen's radar, but it remains to be seen if these will be used on the Gripens they are offering to the Philippines. In terms of restrictions, this is where I have the biggest issue with the F-16, since the United States has a habit of using their military equipment as a political tool. This means that whenever they are displeased with something that a country does, they simply stop the sale of services and spare parts for their equipment. This has been evident so many times. One good example is with Indonesia's F-16 aircraft, wherein the Americans imposed a military embargo on them from 1991 to 2005 because of the involvement of Indonesian troops in East Timor. This eventually led to Indonesia not being able to maintain and operate most of their F-16 aircraft during that period of the embargo. So if we buy the Americans' aircraft, we will have to be submissive to what they want, or else they will simply cut off our logistical supply for those. Another example of the United States mixing politics with their military equipment is in terms of the source code of their aircraft, which former Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad revealed back in 2020 when he said that the Americans have put certain restrictions on the F/A-18 Hornet aircraft that they bought from them, rendering them unable to, in his words, fight another country. I think what he likely meant is that the software of their Hornets will not operate properly when it is in another country. Like perhaps having its weapons functions not working properly, for example, making them almost useless for offensive use. Note that the Americans give access to the source codes of their aircraft softwares only to their most favored allies, and we are certainly not among those at the moment. This means they can install restrictions on the aircraft without us knowing about it. Remember that while the United States has a mutual defense treaty with the Philippines, they do not recognize any of our other claimed territories. And we do have territorial disputes not just with China but with other countries also, like over Sabah with Malaysia and over Itu Aba with their pet ally Taiwan. In terms of pricing of the Block 70, it is a bit complicated as I couldn't find its unit price. It seems all the prices that were published were package prices, meaning already including the training, logistical support, additional equipment, weapons, etc. There were some contracts that were issued directly to Lockheed Martin, the manufacturer of the aircraft, but there is no information if those contracts are for the complete, basic aircraft already, or are they only for the components and integration that they will make and not including all the components that will come from other companies like the engine, radar, etc. The lowest package price that I could find for the acquisition of the Block 70 aircraft is the one that Slovakia bought, which is $1.8 billion for 14 aircraft, which amounts to $128.5 million per aircraft. In contrast, the package price for the 12 Gripen C and D aircraft that Thailand bought back in 2008 reportedly only cost around $1.1 billion, or $92 million per aircraft. The biggest question for me about the price of the Block 70 though is, will the Americans allow us to buy the aircraft and choose only what we want to go with it? If so, then no problem, since our budget for the multi-role fighter aircraft program is around $96 million per aircraft, so we just tell them we will buy the aircraft plus whatever training, logistics support and maybe some weapons that will fit into that budget. However, if they say no, they will require us to get a minimum number of logistical support, additional equipment, weapons, etc. to go along with the aircraft, and it goes beyond our budget, then that will be the problem. In terms of availability, there has been a number of buyers of the Block 70 over the years, and as far as I can tell their factory is filled up with orders up to the early part of 2027. So that means even if we sign the contract this year of 2022, we will likely have to wait for 5 more years or until at least 2027 to have all of our orders fulfilled. I think it may be possible for some of the orders to come in sooner, since we won't be buying a lot, but most or the rest of it will likely have to come in 2027 onwards. So to summarize, the F-16 Viper, being a larger aircraft with a more powerful engine, beats the JAS-39 Gripen in terms of areas like payload and range, and it also has a more advanced radar. However, it is also more expensive to operate, and for me comes with a lot of political baggage and restrictions. Buying it ultimately means we will end up even more dependent on the Americans than we already are now. But in the end it is up to the Philippines to decide whether we can live with its advantages and disadvantages for our use. Thank you for watching the video. I invite you again to like and share it, and subscribe to the channel.